Hey everyone, it has been a minute, hasn't it? I wanted to make a video around Christmas. First off, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We're in 2022. God, I'm getting old. I mean, 2022, I'm gonna be, 22 this June. Um, Gosh, time flies. So I wanted to do a Christmas special, but just was busy with work, didn't have a lot of motivations, had some personal things going on that I don't want to get into right now. So I'm back. I'm gonna make a video here that let me just get this stuff I'm gonna be talking about. That is something that I've been thinking about recently. Are there, this is a question for the viewers, are there artists in your life, music artists, bands, that you absolutely love? Everything they do, you have to buy all of their CDs. And then one day you just think, I don't like that, or not that you don't like it, but I don't need to own this anymore. I have a few that I'm going to be talking about. Actually, of the artists, I only have one CD. And probably the biggest one for me is, before I get to that, it's just, I think that music is in your life to appreciate. I think we can all agree on that. If it wasn't, music has been so important to me. A lot of times. I've learned a lot from music. I've loved a lot of different albums and artists. So I'm trying to see if there's any. Here's some more. I've loved a lot of different albums. I've loved a lot of different artists, a lot of different genres of music. But there's just certain things happen when you just lose interest in an artist. And that's okay to lose interest. Not that you don't appreciate the music that's in your life, but there's just times you just don't want to listen to that anymore. You have to put it away. And the biggest artist for me is probably Jack White. I loved Jack White. I owned all the White Stripes albums on CD. I owned a couple on vinyl. I owned all of the Raconteurs albums. I owned some Dead Weather ones. I owned all his solo albums. But I just stopped getting stuff from it, if that makes sense. I just stopped getting pleasure. It's like I was hearing the same thing over and over again. Not that he's not a talented artist, because he is. He's Jack friggin' White. I mean, he's a talented guitarist. And the only album of his I have left is this one, which I love, Boarding House Reach. Because it's different. It's really experimental. It's something that takes a couple listens to get into. And it's something that I just connected with. And I love this album. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10, but it would be pretty high, pushing a 9. I really love this album. But I decided I don't need all his albums. I just don't. I mean, I don't think I ever need to hear Elephant by the White Stripes ever again. I mean, to be honest, I might listen to it on Apple Music or something, but I don't need that in my life anymore. The album of his I really, really like, or of theirs I really enjoy, is Get Behind Me, Satan, which is just such a good, it's different than what they usually do. But, you go through phases where there are certain artists you love. Another big one for me, I only have one CD and I have one of their vinyls, is The Killers, Day and Age. I love their albums, but it's a chore anymore to listen to their music. It all just starts to think, oh, I've heard this a million times on the radio. But, sorry, I just need to get the vinyl out. I'm not that I'm disappointed with any of these things I bought, but I bought the orange vinyl of Hot Fuzz. I saw it in Urban Outfitters. And I'm like, oh my god, I gotta buy this. And it is really cool. It's a really cool vinyl. I mean, that is awesome. The orange color. But you know how many times I've played this vinyl? Once or twice in the almost 3 years since I had it. I just have had no interest in playing it. Not that I hate the album, because I certainly don't, but it's just, I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear their music. I don't need to hear this album. Probably ever again? Maybe, like, I don't want to say ever again, but a couple of years, like, what I'm trying to say is there's just times when you get burnt out and you get these, excuse me, sorry, I just had some water and some salmon and capers earlier. You get in a rut when it comes to music. What's another artist? Another big one. Panic at the Disco. Owned all of their albums on CD and a couple on vinyl, and I never played them. Like, I lost interest, especially with the more recent stuff that's been happening. I just lost interest in him completely, and the way he's just trying to be like Maroon 5. Like, I just lost complete interest in their music. But I still love, going to the vinyl crate again, I still love their debut album. It's kind of like a cool experience. And I love this album, but I don't really, I played this more than I played Hot Fuss. I just don't need to play it. I don't need to hear it. It's not something I'm interested in hearing. There's a few more. And honestly, there are artists who are still in my life, and I've loved for years. I'm not saying I stopped loving these artists. I'm replacing them with new ones. The Beatles, obviously. What would I do without the Beatles? I mean, what would I do without the Beatles? Honestly, like, they are the greatest band ever. Put that up there. Big one. Arctic Monkeys. I love every single one of these. And live album. Suck It and See. I love Arctic Monkeys. I've loved them for years, and I'm not going to throw them away because I haven't been burnt out on them. I still enjoy listening to their music, but there might come a day, I'm not saying there will come a day when I stop liking them, but then I just get bored with them. I don't think that'll happen. I like the Arctic Monkeys. What's another band I've loved for years? Trying to look down here. Cage the Elephant. I mean, how can I not love Cage the Elephant? I want to get more of their albums, in fact. I love that one to death, and I love this one, Social Cues. There are bands like that where I don't listen to them enough. What would I be without Muse in my life? Having all these Muse albums, and there's some more that I didn't pick up because there's some more here, Where would I be without these? They're artists from my childhood I still love a lot. But that I just don't, there's some that, and this is a big one for me, and I think a lot of people understandably agree with me on this one. So I put these back on here. He goes down here, sorry. Trying to put these back. Trying to clean up a little bit before I continue. A big one for me is Coldplay. I was a huge Coldplay fan. Everything from A Rush of Blood to the Head to Milo's I Loved Ho. I loved everything they did. Even Ghost Stories, I didn't like at first, or it's the one with the color sphere on it. I forgot what the name of that one is. But they're not bad, but their two most recent albums have not been good. And I just get no enjoyment listening to a lot of their records. I still love X and Y. It's still in the top 10 album for me, but I don't need to own it right now. Maybe down the line, I might buy it, cause just to have it in my collection. It's an important album. I love that one. I love Viva La Vida. I love Rush of the Blood to the Head. I even like Parachutes, most of it. But I just don't feel the need to own them or listen to them all the time. I've kind of, said goodbye to Coldplay in a way. I didn't even finish their last album. It was so boring. And, it's just, they're selling out. Kind of seems to me. I mean, we've known it for years. They've been popular since Milo's I Load Up, which is a great record. But, yeah, I don't need Coldplay in my life right now. I have other bands that I absolutely love, like The National, who are becoming one of my favorite bands. Parquet Courts, M83, a few other ones. Unknown Moral Orchestra, REM, Flaming Lips, Clinic, Bon Iver, Bleachers, Beach House, Glass Animals, Hippocampus, The Strokes. I love The Strokes. They Might Be Giants, Tame Impala, Ween, Volcano Choir. They're just bands that I'm getting into. But also some ones that I am putting away for the most part. I'm putting them away. Not that I hate or have anything against any of these artists. I love a lot of them still. Chris Martin is still one of my favorite vocalists of all time, but I feel like I don't need their music in my life right now. I might listen to Fix You, which is one of my favorite songs by Coldplay, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. But it's just, to own their CDs, I can use that money towards things like a car, or like getting an apartment or something. I don't need to waste my money on something that I'm just going to get rid of in a few months. Like, I've bought back some albums. Like, when I originally sold my collection, I bought a few, what am I thinking? A few times later, I bought back A Rush of Blood to the Head, and I bought back X and Y, and I enjoyed them, but I just was like, why did I waste my money? Yeah, they were $3 each, but I'm like, why did I waste $6 of money for something I didn't even really want, but I just saw in a record store and thought, oh, I used to love these. I do love these, but I used to have to own these. I'm like, why did I waste my money? Like, I can just listen to them for through Apple Music, paying the $10 a month for all their music. That's what I do nowadays. If I want to hear an album I used to love, I listen to it online. My CD collection is for stuff I truly need to own. Stuff I love immensely, And like I said, I could go back and I could buy some of their albums, like I was saying, but I just don't feel the need to right now. So thank you guys for this video. Let me know if there are any artists that you used to absolutely love that you don't have fell out of love with in the same way, or maybe what you think of my choices. Have a great day, a blessed new year, and hopefully this year for me and all of you is better than last year. Take care.